Welcome back to Byte by Byte Coding, and this is the very start of our coding tutorial series. Today, we're going to dive into the basics of C++ programming by learning how to set up VS Code for C++ and use cout. So, let's get started. Now, before we begin, let's make sure that we have all of the necessary tools set up. We'll be using Visual Studio Code, or VS Code, as our editor. Now, if you haven't installed it yet, head over to the website at code.visualstudio.com. And on this website, click download for Windows, and just give it a minute for it to download. And once it is done with that, you can just go to your downloads page, open up the file, and you can go through mostly with the default settings. So just accept this agreement, and make sure to check these boxes, because these are going to be very important later. So just make sure that those are checked, and then just install it. Now, just a minute while this installs. And great. Once that's done, you can just click Finish, and then it should automatically launch Visual Studio Code. Now, we just need to get a couple more prerequisites out of the way. So first, we're going to need to install mingw, which allows us to run C++ on our computer. So you can do that by just looking up mingw and clicking on the SourceForge link. Now you're going to click download, and then once that's downloaded, you're going to go back to your downloads folder, and you should see mingw set up. So you're going to open this up, and you're going to go through with the default options. Now, just a minute while this installs. Great. Now, once that's installed, you can click continue, and then here you're going to want to mark these two for installation. So mingw32-gcc-g++ and mingw32 base. Then up here in installation, you'll click install. It might say apply changes like it does on mine. Just click that if it does so. Once that is all done, you can close everything down, and then now we just need to edit our environment, which is where we actually do the code. So if you just go to edit the system environment variables right there, then you open that. Now you can click on environment variables, you can click on path, you can edit, and then you can make a new one, and be very careful to type exactly what I'm saying, because this is very case sensitive. Capital C, colon, backslash, min, GW, backslash, bin. And that should do it. Now you're going to click OK, OK, and OK, just to save everything. Now we can actually close these tabs. And then now, if we go back to VS Code, then you'll notice that we need to make a folder. So we'll just go into our File Explorer. And from in here, what I'd recommend you do is you go to Documents, you make a folder called Project Directory, and then you make another folder called Byte by Byte Code. And once you've done all of that, you're going to go back here, and you're going to click Open a Folder. And then from here, you're going to navigate to that folder that you just created. You can see it's right here. Then you select the folder. And now, here we are, ready to code. So, just one more test that we have to do. Just type in command, yes thing, and then from this screen, type gcc-version. And it should come up with all of your version stuff for the GCC. And if it comes up with that, you can close this command prompt, and we can get started. So if everything worked correctly in that last segment, we just have one more thing before we can start writing our code. So you're going to want to create a new file and name it code.c++. Now that dot represents the extension of C++, which essentially just tells the computer what C++ is and that it's using that for this file. So you're going to hit enter, and then now down in this corner, you should see a little pop-up that says install the needed extensions. So that you click that, and it should install all of these extensions right here. Now you can also just click on C to C++ extension pack if that doesn't show up. So just a couple more things that we need to install, then we can start coding. So you're going to want to type in exe runner and find this one by Brandon Fowler, and then you're just going to want to click install. Now another thing that we're going to need is code runner, which is just right here. Make sure that it's this one once again, and just install it. And then now that we've done that, we can actually just close this window and go back to our Explorer. So now, from here, we should be ready to write our code. So you're going to type in hash include, then a bracket, well, not a bracket, one of the alligators, IOStream, then a closing little alligator dude. So this says, hey, we want to make sure that this file that's part of the C++ extension is using IOStream, which is the developer default rather than the set default. Because if we didn't include IOStream and then we initialized main, which essentially is just saying, hey, we're going to do our code in here, so figure it out. So we're going to type int for integer, and then main, then one of these, and we can add some curly braces and click enter. Now let me just break this part down real quick. It says an integer, which is a type of variable, is called main, and then it says, hey, we're gonna put some prerequisites here, but we don't have any of those yet. So it doesn't include any of those, so we just close the parentheses. Then we say everything in here has to be done as main would do it. So once we do that, we can type in std, which is a namespace which holds certain commands to make it easier for the computer to understand. And then we're going to type ::, to say, hey, we're going to put our command here next, and then cout. Now we can put our two little alligators, in this case less than symbols, saying whatever comes after cout, feed into here. But you'll notice it's underlined in red, and that's because in the set default, std doesn't have a member called cout. In fact, std has no members in the default. So that's why we include IOStream, so that it says, hey, use the developer defaults. It's better for everyone. And you should see that that fixes itself. And then now, after this, as I said before, it's feeding whatever comes after these two less than symbols into the command, which then feeds it to the computer screen. So you're going to type hello world with an exclamation point inside of two quotation marks. That way the computer knows that it wants to actually print these words instead of a variable called that. So then now we can just put our semicolon to end the line, and this might look a little confusing to you. So let's break it down. Essentially, we have include, which I already explained. It says to the computer, include this thing in your code. You know, it's important, I'm assuming. And then here, under main, which is a function, which says all your code is going to go in here. I want to execute this as my code says. So it's much more complex what happens within main. And then now here we say the namespace std, which is just like a basic namespace for everything. Then we say, okay, now we're going to put the command. And then it's cout, which is the command to print to the screen. It's seeing out. And then it says everything after this is going to feed into cout. And then what's after that is hello world. And then we end the line with a semicolon. That way it knows where to stop. Now, be very certain that all of this is written correctly, because C++ is very case sensitive. Like for instance, this term std cout is not the same as this term. Just because of the capital letter, you can see it underlines it. So now that that's done, we're going to want to save our code with Control S, which saves it. And then now, you want to click this little arrow, then click Run C/C++ file. So you're going to click that, and you're going to choose the g++.exe build and debug active file. So just go ahead and click that. And then now it's going to do this, and it's going to reboot the PowerShell while it debugs. And then once that's done, you should see this exe file here. Now you're going to right click this and click Run Executable. Once you click that, it should display this right here, and then it says Hello World. So that's it for this tutorial. Stay tuned for the next one to learn how to declare variables and use cin for user input. Thank you for watching. If you found this tutorial helpful at all, please like and subscribe to our channel for more tutorials and to get notified of our next video. It's free and it helps out a ton. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, or you can join our Discord and leave more in-depth questions. But until next time, happy coding!